Put your chin down a bit. No.
Then I lost.
As soon as you walk in, it catches your motion.
Leland Klassen's Comedy Tournament.
Okay.
Leland Klassen's Comedy Tournament.
It's exciting.
Ladies and gentlemen, scream and yell for Leland Klassen.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the comedy tournament. I'm excited. Are you folks excited? Thought so. I had, yesterday we were getting ready for the show. I was all excited. I was doing an extra show. I went into a bathroom in the place where we were performing, and they didn't have a light switch on the wall when I walked in. It had a motion detector, so you didn't need to touch anything. It's all, right? So as soon as you walk in, it catches your motion, the light comes on, it's all fancy, right? It was wonderful. I was in one of the stalls, and I guess I was in there a little too long or something. The lights went off. There's no windows, it was pitch dark. I was like, hey, come on! I'm waving underneath, trying to get it to go. Come on! I have no idea how long I was in there. It was dark, I don't know. Finally, this guy came in, and I was like, oh man, I'm glad you're here. And I probably shouldn't have said that way. It was awkward. It was an awkward time. Let me explain to you what happens here at the comedy tournament. We've got two comedians here tonight, and it's like a March Madness kind of thing. We've got one and done. You either win or you go home, and that's what's happening tonight. We got two fantastic comics, and right now, if you just want to check this out, we'll learn a little bit about our first one.
From Chatham, Ontario, our first competitor is James McNeil.
My wife said, hey, guess what? My husband thinks he's funny. And this guy, Leland Klassen, said, well, guess what? I'm doing a comedy tournament. Maybe he should audition.
When I first found him, he was good. I could see the potential there, and then I got a chance to see him a little bit later, a few months later, and I saw the progression. And it was the progression that sold me on him.
I guess I'm more of the observational type comedian. Strategy is just to be as funny as possible.
And I think he's going to give these the other competitors a run for their money. Ladies and gentlemen, here to perform for you, put your hands together for James McNeil.
Lethbridge, yes! I'm not going to ask you how you're doing because I can tell you're doing amazing. You've seen my video. And listen, I'm from Ontario, and so just cut me a bit of slack. You know, thank you. And I'm going to tell you this is my very first time to Alberta, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm having a great time. I just kind of stumbled in like, hey, comedy contest, what the heck? I'm coming in. It's now listen, you guys do Easter here in Alberta? You have Easter in here? Okay, I've heard that, but I wasn't sure. You know the family gatherings we all seem to have? We all have different kinds of families, right? But once, maybe twice a year, whether you need it or not, you're going to have that big gathering where you got, probably that big same cast of characters. In my family, we got this bizarre mixture of mismatched and misshapen, strange people that come together. It's been the same people. You've got them too? Yeah. We've got the same people coming to these events my entire life. We've got this guy, Great Uncle Len. Man, he's like this, he gets crustier every year. You know a guy like this? See, every year his pants get a little higher and higher and he gets crustier. Sometimes I look at him, I think, when that belt hits the nipples, he's just going to explode into crust or something. But I love the guy, don't get me wrong. He's got this ability to turn everything negative that you bring to him. He'll say, hey, Uncle Len, looking good. I say, yeah, constipated. And I've got a rash. Stuff you don't even want to know. He'll, or it doesn't matter what it is either. My cousin this year, they're like, Uncle Len, look, it's our brand new baby. What do you think? Kind of takes a look. Looks constipated. Probably gonna get a rash. You know, it's always in there. But he's a wonderful guy. There's Great Aunt Doe. They're kind of like a tag team. She's a striking woman. She's very striking. She never married, ever. And so she's always been void of that wing person. You know, like married folks kind of have each other to sort of remind you when you're about to head out for the night, say, oh, something coming out of your nose, or oh, your underwear's coming out of the bottom of your pants, or like important stuff. She's never had that person, right? So she's a solo act. She loves this kind of blood red lipstick, and she lays it on heavy. She's got gorgeous lips too, and she'll put it on real nice and heavy. Looks gorgeous. But that mixed in with the way that her lip hair hangs into her mouth, oh man. She comes down to the kids, give me a kiss now. The kids get scared, because it looks like she just ate a kitten. And seriously, it's not even fair, really, because tonight, after this show, we're all going to get some chicken wings, ribs, but you eat one kitten. They're not even endangered, right? Are they endangered here? Anyway, they were trumped up charges anyway. She's after her, there's always this guy, he's my uncle. I've got an uncle, he's 5 years older than me, Uncle Brian. When I was a kid, when you get an uncle that's 5 years older, he's super cool, right? Because he's not a grown-up, but he's still a kid and he's cool. But he's one of these guys, he kind of peaked out at about 18 and a half or so. And we're both grown-up men now. But, he's got a lot of forehead like I do, but he still kind of rocks the mullet in the back here. He's got his, REO Speedwagon tour shirt from '81. Still rocks that heavily. And he used to have a Fiero. Remember what a Fiero was? Yeah. Remember they were cool for about 10 minutes, long time ago. He still has the Fiero. Well, he sold the engine years ago for a computer course he was taking, and it's kind of parked on blocks beside his parents' house where he's currently living. But we're praying for him. He was telling me about this really significant job interview he was going to. He got the acid wash jacket on, his good Crocs. Just kind of like he's going to take that by storm. If he gets into 7-Eleven like he's planning to, he's going to turn that thing upside down. It's he's on the way up. But I'm going to admit to my shallowness. The big family events, the folks, I can handle them. I like the food. I like the piles of food that's there. But the dark side of the food is all the dishes, right? Those kind of Easter dishes, Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're the worst dishes because people kind of chew up gristle and put it back on there. That Jell-O food that you never really eat, it's on there, all melted down. So they're really gross dishes. But in our family, we got this one plate. You take this plate right off the table, just put it back in the cupboard, because it is literally licked clean. That's my father-in-law's plate, Norm. And he's had a beard for years, so when he's licking that plate, it's kind of like a buff polish. It's a wonderful service, actually. But I'll tell you, this guy is he's like a man's man, born and raised on an Ontario farm, big forearms on him. And growing up on the farm, he learned that survival table technique where he kind of stakes out his area. He's got his plate here. He loads that plate like he may never eat ever again. He's got a foundation of bread and pickles, and it's on there. Once it's loaded, down comes the arm, and it's kind of like a supper shield or like a food fence kind of thing. But behind the arm, that's where the work goes on. It goes down well. You get too close, he can go at you. So you give him some space. Now, if there's bones involved, which often there is in those meals, there's some kind of bone of some sort. Now, he doesn't eat bones. Like, don't run off with this thing. He's not a maniac, okay? If there's bones involved, the bones on Norm's plate, they look like they've come from like a CSI lab. Like they're bleached white, the marrow's been extracted, they're all kind of lined up on the plate. It's wild. But all that to say, there's only one Norm, right? The rest of the plates are these gross, vomity, terrible dishes. This is where my mother-in-law, Charlene, comes into the game. She's ancient, she's frail, she's saintly. She'll, right after the dinner, before the dessert, she'll kind of push herself away from the table there and kind of get up and say, well, I'm going to do up these dishes. Like there's like a couple plates in a bowl or something. There's 8,000 pieces to this nightmare. So my role as the son-in-law is to put my big, powerful hands on her little bony shoulders and say, oh, Ma, you ain't doing these dishes, honey. But meanwhile, I'm maneuvering her walker towards the sink. Just getting her closer, just tender. And then she'll chime back in, no, you made this wonderful meal. I'm going to do up these dishes. So then I get to jump back and say, listen here. You brought back that wonderful fruitcake from last year. And let me marry your daughter. You are not doing these dishes. By that point, I got the water going, the soap is in there nice. I've got the brakes on the walker for safety, like don't run off again. And I'm kind of cramming that steel wool into her little arthritic claw hands, just to get her set up. He's laughing, because obviously I'm joking, right? We would never use steel wool. It scratches, Lethbridge, my name's James McNeil. Thanks for laughing. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Good night.
Come on in here. Hey. Judges.
James, I thought you did a great job. I liked your enthusiasm. You sold your pieces really well. You did you described a lot of people in your family. My one constructive criticism was tie it all together with a story.
Thanks, Thor.
Good.
I'm going to kind of echo Thor. I thought you did a great job of detailing the members of your family. My only complaint would be you didn't never tell us about you. And you're very likable on stage.
You are likable. I like you.
I would have liked to know more about you. How did you get to where you are?
Like, do you eat kittens? That kind of thing.
Thanks, Bone.
Yeah, I would just echo the same thing. I wanted to hear a little more about. It was like we were watching this vivid sitcom in our heads, but I wanted to see more of you in the picture because you're a brilliant observational comic. I mean, just
brilliant,
such a gift. So your pacing was terrific. It was a great job.
Yeah, it's like you gave us a home movie, but you weren't in it.
Well, you were at the end credits, so it was.
Perfect. Thank you very much, judges. Thank you very much, James McNeil. And we'll be back with another comic right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the comedy tournament. You know what? I was super excited about tonight, and I was getting ready, and just before the show, I was a little stressed, though. A little before the show, I called my wife to kind of calm my nerves down. You know what I mean? I was going to talk to her and get her to kind of put me at ease. You see, my son, a 14-year-old son, and his voice is just cracking now, right? Like, he's like, "Hey, Dad, it's starting to go." It's like, all right. Because a year ago, I would call him. This happened many times. I'd call him thinking I was talking to my wife because their voice used to be exactly the same. It was terrible. It was like, "Oh, hey, hon, how's it going?" "Good, how are you?" "Good." "Oh, I miss you so much." "I miss you too, Dad." "Oh, okay. All right, we've got another competitor. We've got one more tonight for the comedy tournament, and here to introduce you is this video.
Our second competitor hails from Red Deer, Alberta, Brian Work.
I've known him for years and years. I used to work with him all the time.
I discovered early in life that I had a very low self-esteem, so I decided I should get into comedy.
He even retired at one point in time.
If I were to describe my comedy, I would say it's dismal.
Depending on his laugh to it, that's how good. That's how you know how good of a joke it is. If it's a and he keeps going, oh, that's a good joke.
At the end of the night, if I've enjoyed it, that's all I'm asking for.
He's going to give these guys a real run for their money.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brian Work.
Thank you, folks. What a kind crowd. You're very nice. It's such a pleasure to be here. My name's Brian. I'm originally from Saskatchewan. Appreciate that. I like Saskatchewan, I did. I was driving out listening to Saskatchewan Talk Radio. And they were saying, tonight we're celebrating the lives of people who live the Saskatchewan dream. I heard that and I thought, what's the Saskatchewan dream? Making enough money to move to Alberta? I don't know. like Alberta. I love being part of Alberta. I think you Albertans are pretty crazy, though. I got to say that. I do. Yeah. I base this on your road signs. You guys have road signs in Alberta that say things like this: "Do not pass into oncoming traffic." Is this some sort of strange temptation for you folks? You drive along going, "Hey Bob, there's a truck, let's pull out." No, we can't, there's a sign. I also like Alberta because of some of the fun town names. I drove through Vulcan on the way down here. I was up in northern Alberta, strange town names up there. Drove through Valley View. You would think that for a town called Valley View, you would either have a valley or a view. At least Fairview's honest. How's the view? Fair? So I don't care what part of Canada you come from. It's neat to be Canadian. I love being from Canada. I absolutely love it. Although there are some things that Canadians do poorly. For example, we make some of the world's worst TV commercials. Here's one. Saw it in Saskatchewan. It was for the Saskatchewan Council to keep our schoolyards green. Idiots that wrote the commercial thought that a really good slogan would be this: "Let's put grass back in our schools." School enrollment went up. Here's another commercial that just drives me up a wall. You're a smart crowd. Yell out which bank this slogan belongs to. You're richer than you think. Scotia. Doesn't that one drive you up a wall? Yeah. If it does, do what I did. I got a checking account at Scotia Bank. I wrote checks for everything. Pretty soon I had a lady call me up, "Mr. Work, you're severely overdrawn." Well, I thought I was richer. You're a very kind crowd. Let me ask you folks another one question here. How many single people in the crowd? Make some noise. Single people. How many people in a happy relationship? Let me hear from you folks. I wish you guys could have seen that from my point of view. Because when I asked the question, there was one couple in the crowd where just one person was clapping. I'm a married person myself. I've been married for 10 years. Absolutely love my wife. I am blessed to have 2 little baby girls, 3 and 5. Love them with all my heart. And I'm here to share with you the secret of being a husband and a father. And that is patience. So I've learned at 3 o'clock in the morning when my baby girls wake up crying, if I lie there patiently, my wife will wake up and deal with it. It's a great system, it is. My wife and I, we love each other to death, but we do get into arguments quite a bit. Sometimes we argue about strange things sometimes. We argue about movies. About what movies to watch, because my wife, she kind of likes the horror movies. She likes the scary movies. I like comedy movies. So we've come up with a compromise. We now watch horror movies, but we watch them backwards. Changes the meaning of the movie. Take, for example, the classic scary movie of all time, Halloween. Watch it backwards. Instead of being a scary movie, it turns into a nice story about this goaltender who goes around saving people's lives by pulling axes out of their foreheads. I cover well, I do. You're a very forgiving crowd, that's nice. Good thing to have in a church show. It's kind of weird to be back on a church stage, because for years I worked as a youth pastor. I loved working as a youth pastor. How many parents of teenagers do we have out there? Make some noise. I think, and you might agree with me then, that kids bring joy and vitality to life that just makes life make sense and make worthwhile. I love it. However, I wasn't a great youth pastor. because I found out the kids can lie to me and I will fall for it. I once took 75 junior high kids to West Edmonton Mall for a weekend. And it gets worse. I was walking through the mall and I had this cute, innocent grade 7 girl next to me with big eyes. She's looking up at me and she's like, Pastor Brian, have you ever been on that scary roller coaster? It's like, yes, I have. Have you ever been bungee jumping? No. And she asked me why, and I don't want to tell this little kid I'm scared of heights. So I do what any youth pastor would do. I lie to her. Like, well, honey, it's because I can't afford it. She reaches into her pocket, pulls out $178 and says, we took up a collection. So now I have to go bungee jumping. Now you would think that when you go bungee jumping, you'd be met at the top by somebody professional, enthusiastic. Not me, I got stoner boy. He meets me at the top, this is what he says. He's like, dude, you're gonna jump? I was like, finally, I jumped. I did. I thought that rope would slow you down a bit. It doesn't. I hit the water going full speed. I remember thinking to myself very clearly, you know, as a youth pastor, I'm pretty sure my last thought on earth shouldn't be, I want to kill that kid. You guys have been a very kind audience. Thanks for letting me play.
Brian Work, everybody, Brian Work. Judges, what do you got for us?
Brian, I think you made the right decision by leaving ministry.
So did the church.
I thought you're a very good writer, and you had some great, solid jokes. You know, some of your jokes were a little localized. So I would just say for a television program, like if you want this to be seen more than Saskatchewan, you know, just make it.
It won't. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah. Then that was fine. That was fine. No,
Thank you, sir.
Very good writing, though. Very solid jokes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bone?
Brian, I don't know if you heard my notes on the last comic, but you did exactly what you should have done. You hit us in the beginning. We don't know who you are. You showed us you were funny. You hit jokes, and then you began to tell us about yourself. And you got at least 4 applaud breaks. That's huge in the world of comedy. We can get laughs, or you can get people to just clap because they feel sorry for you. But you got applaud breaks.
Welcome to television.
So that's huge, man. That was really a great set. Really, really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir.
Daren, you want to cap that off with anything?
Yeah, it was terrific. I like localized stuff. I like especially when you're out working with a particular audience, talking about them. I mean, you can take that roadside bit and use it anywhere, really, and say, and this is about you, and everyone, oh yeah, that's about us, you know. So it's a terrific thing to work with. Great stuff. There's a couple times I wanted you to get to your punchlines just a little bit quicker. I think you're really good with detail, and that's a strength, but it can be a weakness. If you can kind of think about, all right, this is pertinent to the story, and I'm going to axe the rest of this just to get to a punchline just a little quicker, and that's just a tiny detail. The more you do that, the more laughs, the more you keep them rolling. But like Bone said, you had 4 applause breaks. That was terrific, so well done.
Great job. That was Brian Work. Thank you very much. Thank you, judges. We'll be back after this message. Welcome back, everybody. Well, we've had 2 fantastic comics tonight. James McNeil, Brian Work, and judges, can you tell us which one's going on and which one is not?
We made a decision.
And we just want you to know we really like both of you guys.
We do.
And the winner is
Brian Work.
Congratulations, Brian. Good job, Brian. You'll be back with us on the next one. And James, thanks so much for coming down. You did a great job. Thank you so much. You're going to do great. Ladies and gentlemen, that That is the comedy tournament, and we'll see you next time.
Next time on Leland Klassen's Comedy Tournament, meet the last 2 round 1 competitors, Joel Jeffrey and Tammy Neely. See you then.
How do you feel about the whole thing?
You wouldn't be disappointed, you know. I had to cash in my kids' college fund to come out here, and you know, I lost my job and stuff like that. No.
I just feel very blessed that I had a good set as well, and the judges favored me. So either one of us could have won it.
I've got some great criticism, got something to build on, and it's just an amazing experience. I can say, hey, I was part of the comedy tournament.
I felt very fortunate to move on.